Okay, so we would start on the A note here. Okay, part three here, or part three. Start on the A note, so we'd have lower root here. Now notice lower root does not have LR, lower root doesn't have a line through it. 7 does. So it's a note that sits in between lines on the staff. So if we go straight up, okay, there's our A. Now that has a line through it because this may not be lined up exactly like that. We've got middle C, and then down to that A. Watch this. Here's our G box, here's middle C, here's that A. It has a line through it. So the A that we were looking at before is this guy. It's the first note on the bass clef that sits on the bass clef in between lines. So that's where we would be starting with this note. So we got a starting place. And what I want to say is, if we just play the notes between lines, what are we going to have here? Okay, so here's middle C, here's lower, the first A down, and here's lower A. So if we just play every other note, we've got ourselves an A minor 7th. Okay, 6, root, 3, 5. What are we going to do from there if we want to keep going? We could play a G7 from there. 5, 7, 2, 4. Every other note. So it's easy to see on piano. Okay? And then we could just, for some reason, just do another, then we go and do it again. Okay, but if we're playing that A that's above middle root, this guy, then we're going into notes in between lines with an A minor 7. So A minor 7 is going to be 6. We're going to be all the way up there. Oh yeah, 6, root, 3, 5. And then we can just start a G7 from that. 5, 7, 2, and 4, which is the 7th of G7. Okay, then from there we just go into another, here's our 4. Okay, so that was the top of the G7 there. Let's try one more time. We have this, then we have, right. So we're on the 4 there, and then if we just skip a line again, we're going up and doing actually the same thing because we did 2 octaves. Because we went 2 octaves. We didn't change polarity over to 6 with a line through it. Okay, so let's look at some of these. Let's see where these came from. And then we'll compare them to the guitar. So down here, way down here, we have A minor 7th chord below the B half diminished line through notes. Okay. Okay, so here we have lower C here. And then we have B half diminished. Now this should be, so we have lower C and then we have B half diminished. Okay, that stops at way low C. Here's okay, my bad there. Here we have, working from middle C, here we have the B half diminished 7th chord line through notes below middle C. So we have, here's middle C, and then we're just going to go like this: A, F, D, B. Okay, there's our B half diminished. then we have A minor seventh below that B half diminished. Okay? So the low part of that B half diminished was what? Was B. Okay, then we're going to skip a note and go. Okay, there's your ultra low A half diminished, A minor seventh. Okay, so this is how it, pretty much we can look at it. Here's the lower clef is on line notes, A minor seventh chord. Notice this is the lower clef here. This is the lower clef here. This is the upper clef. Okay, I know it's getting a little complicated. We got lower clef on line notes, A minor seventh chord. A, C, E, D. So the whole thing is like, as long as you're going every other note from any one of the online notes, you're going to be hitting online notes all the way up. Just a little like look at what's going on here. E minor seventh chord above middle C line 3 notes. Okay, so this is above middle C. Here's E minor seventh, like that. And these are all line through notes. Okay, if we just continue that action, D goes to F, and we have an F major seventh. Okay, so above middle C, we have middle C, we had E minor seventh. So all these are what? They're line through notes. Up here's the high E. So let's relate that to the keyboard now, to the fretboard. Now I want you to know that I just brought these down so that we don't have to zoom out too far to read them, but these are not exact because things stack up on the fretboard. They don't stack up linearly like on the piano. Each single string does, but then you have 6 strings and they're separated by fourths. So I could work on where this would encompass, but it would be a best choice to work it into which exact cages they are. Well, that's why I was talking about middle C being a good place to look at middle C is here in the G cage, G to G here, and E to E there, because you have middle C in the G cage right here. Oh, this is the high G cage. Sorry. Here's your first G cages over here. You got middle root there, and you got lower root and upper root. Okay, and here's your fret knot. So, but I haven't really nailed these guys down. So, lower clef lines through notes, G7 ninth chord. Ninth means here's a G7, and I'm just going to add the 2 on top. If we start that G7 on this 5 with a line through, all the notes are going to be line through notes. So let's look at that. Here's 5, 7, 2. Okay, then 4, then 6, then root, middle root. This is middle C. Now where's the next line through note? It's going to be 3. So we go straight up for that, and then to a 5. Okay, but now we're going to add the 9th, which is 2 notes above that 5, which is this 7. The 9th is the 2nd above the octave. Okay, so we pretty much played that G7 9th chord. Remember, it's not 1 note above the octave. That would be a 2nd chord. A 9th chord, 7, 8, 9, right. Actually, it's a 10th